honey, I'm weak in the knees for you. Would you mind if I walked over and I kissed your face in front of all of your friends? Would you mind if I got drunk and I said I want to take you home to bed? Oh, would you change your mind? But I'm weak in the knees for you, but I'll stand if you want me to, and my legs are strong and I'll move on, 'cause honey, I'm weak in the knees for you. I'll stand if you want me to, and my legs are strong and I'll move on, 'cause honey, I'm weak in the knees for you. But I'm weak in the knees for you, but I'll stand if you want me to. My legs are strong and I'll move on, 'cause I'm weak in the knees for you. I'm weak in the knees for you.
So unfortunately, we can't hear that one on the new album, Give It All Away, that just came out in stores, which means you're just going to have to put out another album. So that makes it easy, right?
One day.
But, just to do a little thing, if you notice I'm carrying this around, you're putting out a book.
Yeah.
And Serena says nice things about you in it.
Yeah, she does.
This is really cool. It actually goes through all of his Idol experience and your life up to that point, and some of the different people.
Yeah, it's nice. I think what's kind of hard about being on the show is that I think that everyone who goes on the show is so much deeper and so much more to them than the show shows. Really, they show us when we look our best and when we sound our best. Well, hopefully. But yeah, I think that's. I'm so proud that the book's out now. It's a much deeper look into who I am and why I write the way I write and why I sing the way I sing. And yeah, there's a lot of great interviews in there with members of the top 10 and the judges and the producers of the show and people I've met since then. It talks about my travel that I did in India when I was volunteering at an orphanage there, and the girl that I went with, she writes about her experience, and yeah, it's just a closer look into me.
Well, and it's neat to give it, to look at it. As I said, I got a bit of a sneak peek here, but then when you're listening to the album, to be able to put the songwriting and your stories all together with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so that means you guys get to ask questions again. So, hold on, I'll do a quick run on heels. Carrie Bradshaw, if you keep my butt in high heels, that's all I know.
Two-part question. Who were you most anxious to meet as one of the mentors on Canadian Idol? And who did you find gave you the best advice for you?
Oh, good question. I was crapping my pants before I had to meet Bryan Adams. That was, it was one of the most intimidating things I think I've ever done, was to walk into a room and have Bryan Adams sit down with you. And I think what was so special about him was that Bryan Adams was, I think for me at least, one of the very few who he did not care if cameras were on or if they were catching that or catching what he was saying. Even when the cameras stopped rolling, he was just such a great guy, and he was just talking to me about writing, really. I asked him about writing, and he said, probably the best thing and the best advice I can do is just make music about heart and keep it simple. And I think the one that probably gave me the most, or the best advice was actually Anne Murray. She, I was singing, I did You Don't Know Me, and I have a habit of sometimes I oversing and I just do a lot of trills and running and vocal diarrhea, she called it. And she literally stopped me halfway through the first time. She was like, don't do that. Don't sing like that, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But no, I think that was the best advice, is just to make sure that every time you're on stage, it's just pure emotion and, just let the song speak for itself. Good question, thank you.
Right.
I just wondered if it would be possible to get the CD autographed.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'll come around. Don't you worry.
You got a degree in music at U of L?
I should right now, if I didn't go on Idle, I'm about, I think, 3 classes away from my bachelor's degree with a double major in psychology and classical music. I've been trained in opera, actually, so it's a funny story. They don't show it on TV, but at my very first audition, the notorious sweating audition, we've all seen it. But Zach said to me, he's like, why haven't you auditioned before? And I was like, well, I actually wanted to do classical music. I was gonna, pursue a career in opera. And he's just like, all right. He's like, well, sing me some opera right now. And I was just like, no, it's all right. And he knew exactly what he wanted to hear. He's like, I want you to sing me this aria from this opera. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, but it gets loud. And all I remember is I just started. I was like, whoa! And Sash Jordan just threw her hands up in the air, and she was like, whoa! But yeah, it was funny. It was a good time. So yeah, 3 classes away. I'll finish one day.
It's hard to convince yourself once you sort of fall into what you love doing to go back to school.
Exactly.
Oh. Sorry, it looks really low. We're told shoes, but I couldn't run as fast either. You weren't a singer-songwriter. What other profession did you pursue?
I think probably the biggest thing that is a big passion of mine is just I love travel, but also just I love working with children, especially children in poverty-stricken countries. Like I said, I got a chance to go and volunteer at an orphanage in India, just outside of Calcutta, for about 4 months, and it was just life-changing. And I'm actually hooking up with World Vision. They're going to come with me on my next. Sorry, they're going to come with me on my next tour, and we're going to try to get some kids sponsored. So I think that would be something that I would do. But I love cooking, and I think that cooking is such an art. So I think I might like to do a chef type thing. But music's where it's at.
Are you actually a good cook?
I think so. I'll show you one day, next time I'm in town.
You could do that, yeah.
I was just curious, which judge do you feel most accurately critiqued you?
Questions about the judges. What can I say? I think the best critique always came from, at least for me, I think my biggest supporter was Farley, but I think the best critique always came from Jake. Jake just, I think that he's one of those people that he knows your assets and he knows your strengths, and he really gives you critique to just play on those and to minimize your weaknesses. Zach always said that he wanted to see me from out of the piano. He was just like, you can't win this show if you don't step out from behind the piano. So I tried it, and then I was in the bottom 3. But I would say Jake probably.
Is what we see of the judges on TV pretty much what you get from them, the whole thing?
We do not get to see the judges at all. I remember just when the top 24 were chosen, the judges came out to congratulate us, and they were like, from now on, all of our interaction is going to be on the live shows. So what the audience sees is really the only thing that we get from the judges.
Cool. Anybody else?